Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel, Alan's Cloud. My name is Alan Samsel. In this video I'm going to show you how to disable the DRM on a version 2 model of the Swiffer continuous air system. If you have one of these devices or are planning to buy one anytime soon, I'm going to go over a few things that you probably want to know to get the most out of what you've actually paid for. So if you find this video useful, please hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. So let's get started. So a few weeks ago, I bought an air filter from a deal on woot.com. But I'm just going to show you the Amazon site, and I'll actually put a link to it down in the description of this video. So here's the Amazon. So Woot had this thing for about 40 bucks. Now this is the 2.0 version of it, and to set some expectations, this thing's not a HEPA filter. I mean, it's not one of those ozone machines, not electrostatic. All it basically is a fan with a sock, like filter over the top of it, and it catches big particles, right? Dust and cat hair. Does a pretty good job, actually. I've got 2 cats and a lot of dust around the place, and I'm constantly pulling it out of my server. And the front of my pieces of rack equipment, and I noticed a big difference just setting this thing next to it and running it for a while. It's pretty quiet. But the biggest annoyance of this thing is actually the DRM. That's right, digital rights management on a fan. Swiffer, I guess they want to lock you into buying their filters and only their filters. There's no different kinds of replacement ones out there, only theirs. And basically you have to replace them when they say they need to be replaced, or they disable the device that you paid for. So maybe DRM isn't the right word for it, but proprietary definitely is. That's what it is. So I ran this thing for a month, and one of the first things that I did was I actually broke the chip off of the filter so that I could wash the thing, because it got dirty within just a week. And let me show you the bag. So those are the chips on it right there. I broke it off, I put it in the slot, and it ran just fine. But all the while it was counting down, right? And I ran this thing for well past a month, and I thought I was going to be good to go. But I actually shut it off when I was rearranging the room the other day to set some things up in the office here. When I turned it back on, it just gave me the replace filter light, and it wouldn't actually do anything. So basically, since I didn't have a clean filter to put in there, it was dead. No fan, no nothing. Can't even just run it with the dirty filter. So last night, I finally got a chance to crack this thing open and see what makes it tick, and see if I could figure out how to bypass that DRM. Well, so the good news is that you can do it, and it's pretty easy. So, but before I show you how to do that, I need you to know that this is definitely going to void your warranty. Anything that you might have, you're not going to be able to return this thing if you do this. And you do this at your own risk. I don't accept any responsibility for the things you do to your device, but it can be done, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So with that said, let's get started. So this is the Swiffer continuous air cleaning device. This is generation 2. Apparently there was a first generation of this that didn't have the chip, the DRM chip, attached to the dust collection bag. But then they didn't have filters out there for a while, from what I'm gathering. But I picked up one of these, I think, on Woot for around $30. I get a lot of dust, a lot of cat hair, a lot of big particulate that I wanted to try to collect prior to it entering into my servers. And so that's my use case for this thing. And if you're going to use it around the house, that's perfectly fine. But really annoyed with the bag system and the chip and the DRM that they're using here. The bag is disposed of, according to their plan, every 30 days, because as soon as you stick the chip that's attached to the bag, you can see that there. I've broken this one open just to see what it looks like on the inside, but normally these are attached right here on the edge of these bags, and one of the first things I did was just go ahead and break off the back piece of this, the other piece of plastic. There's a nice line there, you can just snap it off. That way I could actually wash this thing and attempt to reuse it. But the chip that they have inside of here actually does interact with a logic board that is wired into the fan itself, and starts essentially a countdown timer. So you've only got a month, and I've read online where some people say, well, it'll last longer than a month. For me, it did until I unplugged it, and once I plugged it back in, it gave me one flashing light on the little readout display that it has, and it never worked after that. So essentially, this is where your lights pop up, and it starts all four lights when the chip is fresh, and the filter is fresh, and then it starts to count down. So it only gives you roughly 30 days, 4 to 6 weeks. No matter how clean your environment actually is. So you could have a lot less dust. It could, not even be really, it could be an unused filter. And just because it's been 30 days, it will, cause you to have to replace it. And so this is actually, the filter goes around here, the chip goes in here, and it interacts with the board that's on the inside here. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you, and again, at your own risk, you do this. I'm not responsible for anything you do, but I'm going to show you how to disable that essentially and remove it. This is really just a giant brushless fan that runs on 24 volts DC, and basic electronics. You only need power and ground to get the fan running. That's really all you need, power and ground. So the other board that's in there doesn't actually do anything other than interact with the chip for the DRM piece. So going to need a couple of tools here. Screwdriver, Phillips head, and I've got this little one here that helps get this plastic base off. Underneath here, you can see these white clips, and you just kind of, if I can hold it on the side here, you take your screwdriver and you push that back towards this to release it, and it pops it up. And so you do all three of those. Well, here, let me put it down. Now that one popped. And then do this one and that one, and this one here, and then that's it. They're just held in by these little clips. You just push back, and it pushes away from this, and you can remove it. So then to get into this thing, it's only these three main screws right here that hold the top shell and the bottom shell together, and then one screw here holds the panel on for the electronics on the inside. So we'll take the screw out here and get access to everything. Now, of course, this bundle of wires right here, I've got mine disconnected, but it's normally connected to the board that's in here. So I'm going to unscrew this here, get to the board underneath. One screw and another. Like I said, this thing is pretty simple. Pull the board out, and that's actually the piece of electronics that's doing everything, causing the countdown, running the lights here on the front. And as I said, normally this bundle of wires is connected here. This one, I'll just slide this out to show you. So there are 5 pins right here, and that is normally this ribbon cable down here, which goes to the chip, where it mounts underneath this chip here. That's where it plugs in. That's what those go to. So, and then these other connectors right here, you can see that first one is the 24 volts ground, or 24 volts. The next one is ground, PWM, FG, and then ground 1. So the reason why you have 2 grounds here and only 1 power This ground here is actually coming in, I believe this one comes in from the fan itself, and then this one here is the ground that comes in from the power pin, and I'll show you what those connectors were. So the first, this red one here is the first one. That was the 24 volts, and then you had, I believe, the white one, and then the I think it was a blue and a yellow, and then the black one for the regular ground. I could have those mixed up, but it doesn't actually matter. What really makes this work is the other end of this wire here, which comes to this 24 volts, and I'll show you where it is. We're going to disconnect it, and then the two ground wires. So this is the ground wire for the power connection, and then the ground wire from the fan itself. You're going to connect those two together. So you strip back. All I did to take these off of the board was actually just wiggle them back and forth and break them. They're just basically braided metal cables. So you can strip back using a sharp knife, a little bit of that, shielding on there for each of these two ground wires. Twist it together, and then you can actually use just a piece of tiny piece of black electrical tape to secure that connection. So that's dirt cheap. I went a different option. I actually used a little bit of solder and a butane soldering iron here, and my old Christmas present came in real handy, and soldered that together for a more permanent solution. But let me show you on the other side of this what it actually looks like from the power connector side. And I'm going to show you my preference as well, because I don't actually want to keep the other, I don't want to keep the board in there, and I also don't want to keep the the chip socket for the bag. I just going to run it with those removed. Take these screws out here. Come on. One more. Okay. And then to keep this together, we just want to flip this around. And then this piece just pulls right off and comes off. But you can see this is where the chip reader lines up, and the flat piece here for the panel. So we just put that out of the way for a minute. And because we've disconnected this braided cable that went to this board here for those 5 pins for the reader, and it's just sitting there, we can actually just pop that off and pull it through. You can leave it in place if you find that more aesthetically pleasing, but it's actually not functional, so I prefer just to get rid of it. And then for the fan itself, here on the other side, you can see there are wires. You've got a black one, a yellow one, a red one, and a blue one that are coming from the fan itself, and they pop out here. Okay, so there is the one red wire, and it goes over here to the red connection for the power pin. This is where you plug in your normal power cord right there that comes with. And so normally, when you first open this thing up, you're going to have 2 of these. So there was 2 of them soldered together to that red, hot power coming in from that connector there. But the one here that I've got disconnected is that one that goes over to the first pin on this connector board over here. So you can just disconnect it here. All I did was pull it off of there and bend it out of the way so that it doesn't touch anything. And then the white one is actually the power cord, is the ground cable that is going over here to the board. So that connects there. And then you can see the black wire that's coming out of the fan as well. That's the fan's ground. So what we're doing is we've got our power coming in, and we've got our ground, and we're connecting the white ground cable to the black ground cable. And you could even shorten this up if you know what you're doing with electronics. But just leaving everything in place, getting things out of the way, this will make it work. And then to put it back together, it's just that easy. Is putting the top back on, lining things up correctly, flipping it back over, putting your screws in place, and doing everything that we've just done here in reverse. But again, the key takeaway here is all of these three wires, the red, the blue, and the yellow, are now dead. They're not actually going to anything. And the ground wires are now connected, and that's the only thing that you really have to do here. So I like to leave the board out, and of course that chip reader that we removed. I like to slide this thing here back in place. And you can actually screw that back down. So nothing will actually light up, but you won't have a gaping hole there or anything. And you'll know it's on because the bag will inflate. Put our panel back on first here. Again, those wires are just loose in there because they're not actually touching anything. But if I was being safe, even though I soldered that connection, I should probably cover it up with some black electrical tape. But you can see how easy this is to do. So I'll get to that later on. We'll put this back together real quick. Okay, there's that. And then the plastic piece here just slides back into place. Those are in place. There's the fan together. See if this cord will reach here. And so I've got that plugged in over there. And let's find our power here. And there you have it. So again, it's running. There's no lights, and it's just cranking at full speed like it should. So no issues. So thanks for watching the video. If you found it useful, please like the video and do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out, even if you don't do it permanently. I realize some of you might not be coming here for my server videos and the other things that I do. You might just be here for this Swiffer video. So until next time, just remember one thing. There's no such thing as the cloud. It's just somebody else's computer.